Now that you know about negative exponents, let's talk about multiplying exponents. Again, this is Mr. William. Today's objective is I will be able to use the law of exponents to multiply and divide exponents. Let's get started. So the law of exponents, remember, it's just a law. It's a rule, it's what you do. When you multiply exponents, you have to add the exponents. So same base, my base stays the same, and I add my exponents. So I'll do a few, and you can do a few. So I have 4 to the 5th power times 4 to the 3rd power. Remember, this means multiplication. This is not a decimal sign. This is multiplication. So my base stays the same. This is my base. It doesn't change. And I take my 5 and I add it to my 3, and I get 4 to the 8th power. Okay, number 2, this is my base. So I keep my base, and all I do is add my exponents. Multiplication, you add the exponents, 6 to the 11th power, or 6 to the power of 11. Number 3, my base is 4. So I keep my base, and I just add the exponents. Now, real quickly, I have negative 5 plus 3. So if I draw negative, 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 plus, plus, plus. A negative and a positive cancels out. It's like I give you a Durham. I give you a Durham, then I take it away. Then you end up with nothing. So this cancels that, this cancels that, this cancels that. All I have left is negative 2. So my answer here is 4 to the power of negative 2. But that's a negative exponent. So I'm going to change that to 1 over 4 to the power of 2, which we could make into 1 divided by 16. All right, so here's another one. Same base. So I keep my base, and I do 4 minus 7, which is equal to a negative 3. So that's 6 to the power of negative 3. But I have a negative exponent, so I want to make it positive. So I'm going to go 1 divided by 6 to the 3rd power, which is going to be 6 times 6 times 6, which is 36 times 6. Which I'm going to do up here. 36 times 6 is 36, 18, 21. So it's 1 divided by 216. Okay, I'm going to pause. And I want you to do these problems. And then come back and I'll give you the answers. Okay, let's see what answers you have. Same base, it's going to add. So I have 3 to the negative 2 plus 3 to the negative 3 plus a negative 2. So I'm going to draw a little picture here. If I have a negative 3 and a negative 2, they're all the same. So that equals a negative 5. So I have 3 to the power of negative 5, which will give me 1 divided by 3 to the 5th power. And we're going to figure out what that is. We'll come over here. So 3 to the 5th power is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So we'll say that's 9. That's 9 times 3. So we get 81 times 3. And 81 times 3 Go ahead and erase this. 81 times 3 is 243, I believe. 81 times 3 is 243. So that gives us 1 divided by 243. Okay, the next one, we run out of room here. Let's do it down here. So I have the same base. So I have r negative 7 plus 3. And again, I have a negative 7 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and a plus 3. Oops. Plus, plus, plus. Cancel, cancel, cancel. I have a negative 4 left over. So that's r to the power of negative 4. We don't want to leave that negative, so we'll write 1 divided by r to the 4th power. Okay? I need a little room, so I'm going to erase this. Okay, so number 3 here, we have same base. So it's 2 to negative 3 minus 4. They're both negative, so I get 2 to the negative 7. I don't want to leave that negative, so I write equals 1 divided by 2 to the 7th power. I'm sorry, I said 1 divided by 2 to the negative 7. It's 1 divided by 2 to the 7th power. And I'm going to find some room over here. So 2 to the 7th power is 2 times 2 times 2. That's 3 times 2, 4 times 2. That's 5 times 2 is 6 times 2 is 7. So that gives me 4. That gives me 4. That gives me 4. And that gives me 2. Well, that gives me 16. And we'll go ahead and say that gives me 8. So it's going to be 16 times 8, which is 128. So that gives me 1 divided by 128. So here we have number 4, s is our base. So s, negative 5 plus negative 2. Well, they're both negative. So it's going to be s to the negative 7, power of negative 7. And then I'm going to cross over. So my 7 becomes positive. Okay. Let me go ahead and put a box around those final answers. All right. And the last one. I want to write it down here. Y to the power of negative 1 times y to the power of 4. Same base. Negative 1 plus 4. So I have negative 1 and I have plus 4. So that cancels out. I have left plus 3. Y to the power of 3. It's already positive, so no need to move it. All right. So I'll stop right there. And the next video, we'll talk about how to divide exponents.